All right, let's take a look at this next problem, everybody. So the first thing we'll do, read that question sentence. It says here, how many cubic feet of water does it hold when fully filled? All right, everybody. So we have to really talk about that there because when we read this, does this question sentence, everybody, does this question sentence explicitly say perimeter or area or volume or surface area? Does it explicitly say this? No, it doesn't. So that might make it a little confusing. You might be wondering, well, what am I actually trying to solve for here? And I'm going to show you where that key is. That key is right here. Cubic feet. Everyone, when we think about the units that are used, cubic units, cubic feet, that is volume. When we're talking about square feet or square inches or square meters, that'll be area. But here, this is volume because we're discussing cubic units. So that's going to be a saving grace later on as you perform more practice questions. So we're looking for how many cubic feet, which is volume. And then when we read the actual problem statement, we see that it says rectangular aquarium. So we're dealing with a rectangular prism. It's volume, so it's 3D, a rectangular prism. Here we go. Volume is going to be length times width times height. And we have everything actually already given to us. So here we are. It says 3.5 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 2.5 feet high. So anybody here who's feeling a little nervous about dealing with decimals, you're good. Take it one bit at a time because you'll notice that we have 3.5 feet for the length. We have 2 feet for the width. And then we have 2.5 feet for the height. When you take this into account, one thing you might notice right over here is that 3.5 multiplied by 2, that's going to give you a whole number. That's actually going to be pretty convenient. So check this out. 3.5 multiplied by 2. When we multiply here with a decimal, remember that all we have to do is ignore that decimal, and we'll bring back those decimal places at the end. So check this out. 5 multiplied by 2, that's going to be 10. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Carry the 1 is 7. So basically kind of like you're doing 35 times 2, 70. And then we'll bring that decimal back at the end. So that'll give us 7, not 70, 7 for that first part. We have volume equals 7 multiplied by 2.5. So now we'll perform this again. Again, one step at a time. So here we are, 2.5 multiplied by 7. 5 times 7 gives us 35. Carry the 3. And then we have 2 multiplied by 7, which is 14. Carry the 3 is 17. And just like before, we bring that decimal place back right there. So boom, our final answer is the volume is 17.5, and it's going to be 17.5 cubic feet. Because again, we have feet multiplied by feet again. And that is what gives us feet to the power of 3 or cubic feet. But nonetheless, everyone, our final answer here is answer choice B, 17.5 cubic feet. All right, let's go ahead and work on another triple ratio question. Let's go ahead and get that fear out of that system. So as always, we'll read the question first. So it says, if there are 10 tulips, what is the total number of flowers in the garden? So just like in the previous question, we're given a part and then we're looking for the total. So we'll say we have 10 tulips and then we are trying to find the total. So just like in the previous question, so this one's really, really, really similar. We see that we have 3 to 2 to 5. And so we have to understand what that 3 to 2 to 5 really represents. So here we go. We see that it says roses to tulips to daisies. So that 3 to 2 to 5, that's represented as roses to tulips to daisies. And so with that said, well, which of those numbers can we already use, my party people? Which of those numbers can we already use? Yeah, tulips. Because remember, everybody, we're trying to compare the same things in the same way. So if we have 10 tulips, again, the number doesn't matter. We are comparing tulips to total. We have tulips right there. So I'm going to place the 2 for tulips right there. Booyah. And then up next, I need to figure out what I'm going to represent the total with. And I can do that quite easily by just adding things up. So with that, booyah, we're going to add 3 plus 2 plus 5, giving us a total of what, my party people? Yeah, giving us a total of 10. So we have 10 total. Perfect. We can place that in the parts, not the actual total, but the part of the total. So now we're good to go. Easy enough. Set up our proportion. I'll put an x right there. So 10 over x equals 2 over 10. And so with that, we can cross multiply and divide nice and easy. You can compare, you can simplify. It's all going to be the same thing. So we see that we're going to cross multiply and get 2x equals 100. And then once we divide both sides by 2, everybody, what's 100 divided by 2? Oh yeah, that's going to be 50. And our correct answer here is x equals 50. Boom, perfect, all good, all done, and we are set. And one more time, just to express this before we go to the next problem, the last problem here, remember that the reason that it's important to understand setting up the proportion the right way first is because if you would have tried to throw in the 3 here or the 5 there, you would not be able to add it back up to get a total because it's not tulips to roses, it's tulips to roses to daisies. So you're forced to represent the proper total here in order to get this done the right way. So with that said, I want to go ahead and push forward here into one more problem before class ends. It's going to be, could be the same, could be different. I'm not going to tell you, not going to give you a good hint, but we are going to give this our best shot. All right, so here, in this problem, you might recognize it, and that's okay. And this problem says, hey, how many meters did she cut off? So my party people, how many meters did she cut off? Are we asking how much we have left, subtraction, or are we just trying to find out, hey, how much did we cut off, plain and simple, that's all we need? Yeah, we're just looking for how much we cut off. That's the simple part about it, and that's the great part about starting with the question sentence first. So now that we have that, let's get it going. We see that we have a ribbon that's originally 3 meters long, and then we cut off 2/5 of the ribbon. So let's just translate this to math. The word of is multiplication. So we have 2/5 multiplied by, and the ribbon that we're given, like we said, is 3 meters long. And so if we're multiplying, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and write this as a fraction over 1, because now we'll be multiplying the numerators and denominators together, and we're all set. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. And our answer is going to be 6 over 5. However, everybody, even though we don't see 6 over 5 listed, what can we do to get this done? What are we supposed to do? Yeah, just divide. We're going to divide. We're going to do 6 divided by 5. We're going to figure that out. So let's get it done. We'll divide 5 into 6. And we see that 5 goes into 6 one time. Subtract 5, and we get 1 left over. We'll put a decimal place so we can continue. And then we have 5 going into 10. That'll be twice. And there we are. 2/5 of 3 meters is the same as 1.2 meters. And that's why the correct answer here is answer choice C, 1.2.